Hi, my name is Ezzy and this is Inclusive Space. I've met with some very wonderful individuals who have given me permission to share their stories and share their light out into the world. And this is what we created together.
This is a trigger warning. Due to the nature of some of the answers to the questions, there may be topics, words or phrases mentioned that may be triggering or sensitive to some audiences. Please be wary if you could be easily triggered or upset by sensitive topics. There will now be a pause so that you do not have to listen to the triggers mentioned before anything is said. Content warning. Sexual trauma, PTSD, homophobia, transphobia, mentions of mental health struggles, mentions of suicidal thoughts, mentions of unaliving, mentions of addiction, mentions of grief and loss, mentions of death, mentions of drugs and struggles with drugs.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Sky Amelia Baxter. I'm a trans woman from Maidstone.
And oh my gosh, we had the weirdest meeting.
Yeah.
We met in the strangest of places.
We met in a HOP.
So how are you feeling?
I'm feeling more confident than I usually would. Yeah, feel pretty.
Feel pretty.
Feel pretty.
That's why we're here. What made you want to take part in this experience?
I think I was just intrigued by the idea of seeing an image of myself that I could think is beautiful, I guess. Mm-hmm. I struggle to see a lot of beauty in myself day to day, so it's just seemed like a nice thing to do.
And when do you feel you're most beautiful?
I feel my most beautiful when I feel I struggle to feel powerful or powerful. That's the best word, because it almost feels that's a masculine trait, that if I sort of express myself in a powerful and confident way, then that is something that sort of casts doubt on my womanhood and femininity. Yeah, so I often go through life very shy and quiet, and I'll just I want to make myself smaller, which is a bit of cruel irony because I'm fucking huge. I don't know. I feel beautiful when I feel small and quiet.
So what makes you feel euphoric?
Yeah, I mean, probably one of the earliest memories I can have of having an overwhelming sense of euphoria. It's just classic trans girl stuff. I went into the local H&M or something, and just tried on a bra, and then put my top over it. So it looked like had boobs. And then I had a little cry, and that was I think my sense of dysphoria and my sense of euphoria are two sides of the same coin, and they're very much tangible physical feelings. Of course, it's not like that for everyone. Some people,
yeah, of course. Some
people don't have dysphoria. I'm not one of those people, so that sucks for me. But I think a lot of my euphoria I get is a lot of my feelings of euphoria kind of bound up with my body and my sense of self as a sexual agent. I think a lot of the time, well, not even agent, but on I sort of minimize my agency a lot of the time in those situations.
What was like your childhood like for you?
Interesting. So, grew up in a very Christian household, and it was an experience. I went to an all-boys school with like a strong military culture. Joined the RAF cadets when I was 13.
What was that like?
Homoerotic.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of pent-up sexual energy in military men, let me tell you. Anyway. So yeah, that was difficult. I came out for the first time when I was 16.
Wow.
So I was in year 12. I just got into year 12. So, and I came out as gender fluid and bisexual. That's what I told my parents. And this was like sort of the culmination of my ally phase, right? That I had when I was about 14 to 15. I had many arguments with my parents about queer stuff. And gradually over those 2 years kind of like softened their opinions. And then I came out and they were supportive in, I think with the knowledge that they had then, they were as supportive as they probably could have been with the knowledge that they had. But things weren't so great at school. So I pretty quickly closeted myself. I closeted the gender stuff first and was like, and sort of reframed my sense of femininity as merely an expression of my male homosexuality, which is like ironic because I'm not even that attracted to men.
Are your family supportive of you now?
Yeah, so it's been a process, but like now they're totally on board. So much so actually that it's so cute. They recently got the transgender issue by Sean Fay, and they're reading it together and like discussing after every chapter that they read, which is really adorable.
That's lovely.
Sean Fay is really cool trans writer.
Cool.
He's very, awesome person. And they've even listened to her podcast, which is just so adorable. So they're really supportive now. It took work. I think it took a bit of molding.
Is like all of your family
No.
in on it with you? Or?
No. The people that matter are my sister, my parents, my great nan was supportive as far as I could tell before she passed away quite recently.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. A lot of the family is supportive. Unfortunately, my grandparents on my dad's side and my auntie on my dad's side take a different view. My auntie is very much of the kind of second wave feminist, trans exclusionary kind of culture, right? So she's cut from that kind of cloth. She read Jeremy Greer growing up, I think, and took that to heart. So she posts some questionable things on Facebook.
Okay.
I caused a bit of a rift, I'd say, a year and a half ago, and I've spoken very, very little to my grandparents and my auntie since then. Some things were said between it was a bad time.
Complicated.
And I don't really think about it too much.
Okay.
I don't really think about them too much.
Mm-hmm. What are your like friends like? How does they make you feel?
So most of my friends are from the last 6 months, I'd say. But I think most good, I grew up in a very toxically masculine environment. Most of my friends from that time are, as you'd expect, they were like my own friends, they call me a fag, so it's kind of weird, but this was back in year 12 in that school when I came out. It was accepted being like a butt of jokes, because it even if I existed on the periphery of a social group, I was still in a social group, right? And so that was preferable to just being cut loose. So I just kind of let that happen. But not all of them were like that, and there are a few people that are really important to me from that I met back then. My college is pretty queer at the moment. I sort of had an explosion of queer people in my life.
Yeah.
I suppose. The first trans person that I met in person that was out as trans was when I was 20. I'd already made my decision to transition at that point. So I sort of in fact, I'd already come out twice at that point. Closeted myself when I was 17, came out again when I was 20. Then I met another trans person for the first time. I kind of I did all the work to determine my identity on my own, I'd say, with very few reference points. Really the only trans people that I was even aware of. I knew of Chandler Bing's mum and Caitlyn Jenner. Not the most amazing role models, I would say.
So what has transitioning been like for you so far?
It's been good. It's been mostly good. I've been on hormones for a year.
That's amazing.
Now, which is good.
Is that with the NHS?
Kind of. I get my hormones from the NHS. So, I walk into Boots and get my prescription for £9. But I went through a organisation called Gender Care to get them, and I'm actually still waiting to see the GIC in London, the NHS GIC.
It takes forever.
It takes forever. They're seeing at the moment, they're organising appointments for people referred in November 2017. I was referred in January 2020. So it's, God knows. I'm just I don't even know when surgery is on the table. I don't even know when I'm even going to be able to get to the planning stage. Unless I find 30 grand under my pillow. I probably am going to have to wait a decade or maybe 15 years. And it's it's difficult. There are some days where I just don't want to look at my body at all. I just live in my Udi or something. And sometimes, sometimes I just kind of look at my body and cry a little bit. But we make it work.
Would your younger you or your inner child be proud of you today?
Honestly, probably not. I think authentically, yes. But also, younger me was a devout Christian. Devout Christian, kind of thought queer people were weird. I think if I came to my younger self, if I came to my 12-year-old self as who I am now, they would be so freaked out.
Maybe you now would be
like representation and the exposure that your younger self needed and deserved to have.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. Like if I had seen anyone remotely like me when I was growing up, that would have done bits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would have, because when I first came out, I still get angry at myself. Because when I first came out when I was 16, the idea of medically transitioning was entirely off the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I didn't even want to contemplate because I genuinely believed that people that did that were strange.
Mm-hmm.
Were just strange, delusional, mad. I thought that if I did that, I would hate myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been nice. I think the idea of taking hormones, getting surgery, and being happy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and liking myself, and walking out in public and not feeling ashamed of myself,
Mm-hmm.
were like the things I didn't put together. Right? I was like, well, I either live my life as a freak and, you know, feel embarrassed to walk out every day of my life, or I just suppress all these feelings and live as a straight man as best I can.
Mm.
And it was like, and I still kind of believed that even when I made the decision to transition at 20, because that was probably the point I was most desperate. And I was like, well, do you know what? I'm not gonna survive, so might as well just try it, see what happens. And then it really didn't occur to me until like a few months after, where I met a trans person for the first time. And I actually got a few trans friends for the first time in my life. It wasn't until that point that I sort of like, it dawned on me that actually transitioning and being happy were possible.
When was the last time you cried?
God, yesterday.
What does it feel like when you don't cry for a while?
I didn't cry for about 2 years, between the ages of 18 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did not cry. Did that. And then I just sort of suppressed everything. I just pretended that I was straight, that I was a man. I just kind of buried all of that very, very deeply.
Mm.
I did my gap year. I went to uni. And it was only like halfway through uni, that first year, that the cracks sort of started to show. Yeah, and all that emotion that I was bottling inside, like, sort of came out, because throughout that period, like, I was very, very numb. And it was strange because I was also like the least sad that I had ever felt. In my memory, like, those 2 years were like some of the least sad that I'd felt, just because I was so numb. Like, everything was completely numbed. But yeah, I don't know, like, I don't want to be not sad, I want to be happy. So the price you pay for being happy is that you're also sometimes sad.
Mm-hmm.
I found that, do you know, one of the things that transitioning has really done for me is it sort of like unlocked my ability to express sadness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was always like, in my childhood, I was always a very subdued person.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get angry. I didn't get sad. I just kept it all inside. I still don't get angry, but I do get very sad. Yeah, I do express my sadness in a way that actually really helps me.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think has been a mixture of, like, just living as myself and also, you know, Lord knows estrogen makes you cry.
Yeah, what was that like? Like,
Getting hit with estrogen. That was nice, actually.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
before, whenever I felt that sort of creeping sadness and like desire to like be vulnerable and be upset, it would always come with a deep sense of shame, and sort of like embarrassment, because I wasn't allowed to be vulnerable. I think post-transition, like feeling safe to be vulnerable is something that I actually quite enjoy now. In a strange kind of way.
So, how are you feeling now?
Feeling good.
How has this experience been for you?
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I felt like connected with myself in a really nice way that I haven't done in a long time. I really appreciate you.
So, I'm here with Annabelle. And how are you feeling right now?
Feeling quite good. I didn't know that this was happening today. It's kind of like I was not looking forward to just going home. So this has kind of made my day a bit more magical.
How have you been feeling like lately?
I think my mental health has taken a decline with winter, and with winter my fibromyalgia gets worse. So summer, I'm waiting for summer.
How does your energy feel today?
Quite physically low, but mentally I feel quite high energy, which is good.
And what does your style say about you?
I don't know I like to change my style a lot. Sometimes it will be more kind of your style. Sometimes it will be more like flower fairy. Sometimes more early 2000s. But I like to switch it up. I have lots of different masks for masking. So I like to be all the kind of different versions of myself.
What makes you who you are?
I think what I do and how I impact my life and how I impact other people's lives, hopefully for the better. And I think the things that I love.
What things do you love?
I love nature, I love the world, and I love people. I love everything on this planet, really.
What do your disabilities mean to you?
Both of my disabilities, they mean quite different things to me. I only got my autism diagnosis a year ago.
Wow.
So that was really important to me. I was really happy. It kind of felt like it was my birthday.
Oh.
And all of it because I'd always had so many questions. And when I was younger, I thought I was going to be like an X-Men because, X-Men, they always have difficulties when they're early teens and then they get their power. I was like, I'm going to get my power.
I know what you mean, watching X-Men.
Yes. I was like, damn, they're different, but they're also got superpowers. But I really love being autistic. It's everyone has challenges. I think mine are just different, but you get loads of different positives.
Yeah.
So
do you feel that the positives outweigh the challenges?
Definitely, I think so. And the more I learn about autism, the more the challenges I can shrink those or combat them. And on the other hand, with my fibromyalgia, that is a lot harder because there's no really any positives. And it's sad when you go to the doctors and they say, oh, but usually women don't get this until they're in their 40s or 50s after a long life of trauma. I've had a short life of trauma.
Yeah, it's so minimising. The medical industry, it's so minimising.
It's all everyone's going into such scientific, horrible terms, and especially autism, even with special interest, I think they say strange interest with abnormal abnormal interest. Especially in secondary school, I felt very like dumb and stupid because of teachers, because of boyfriends. Kind of like drilled it into my head. So my special interest gave me a kind of area that I was like, I'm actually really good at this. So yeah.
Who makes you feel safe in this world?
Well, I feel quite safe with you right now, so that's good.
That's so
My family and my other friends who are autistic or ADHD or both, because I can just really be myself, and then I like notice that I'm not masking, and that always feels really nice when you're like, oh, my voice isn't in a strange American accent right now.
Do you find that you like STEM as well?
Yeah, I stim a lot more in front of people. In fact, like vocal stimming is how the first time someone brought up that I may be autistic, because in history class, that was the one teacher I got along with. So I used to like stim more subconsciously, and I used to meow loads. He came up to me and he was like, oh, so have you ever thought of like getting any support for your autism? And I was like, I'm not autistic. And then he was like, oh. And then I looked into it and I was like, oh, maybe he's right.
Do you find that you do those like random ones that sort of like pop out, almost like a tick?
Yeah, and it's like big bursts of emotion or excitement, or it's really nice. It just makes it like carries your inside feelings like outwards.
What has allowed you to grow as a person?
I think just having time to myself and reflecting and thinking. Probably I have like some friends who are younger than me, kind of seeing them go through the same difficulties. I can kind of like step out and then help them go through it, and then it kind of helps me.
What allows you to flourish?
I think given like not having constraints and not being expected to work in a way that I don't work, and then I can just really get into it and really get passionate and go crazy at the thing.
Yeah.
And then it happens well. It's only when I have like those constraints and expect it to work in the way that my brain does it that I kind of falter. I hate timed things. I'm not. I like slow and steady, and then I can reflect and consider things. I hate like being rushed and being timed. I love like cozy little nooks and things. It makes me like when I was younger. I used to when I was younger, and when I'm now. I like my wardrobe is a built-in wardrobe, so I can fill it with cushions and like sleep. I can sleep in there. I say sleep, but it doesn't fit all of me, so I kind of like angle myself out, but it feels very safe.
Okay, so what do you enjoy doing?
I enjoy making art. I enjoy making music. I'm in a band. We're called Worthless Worms.
That's so cool. Who's in the band with you?
My friend Lewis and my friend Chris.
What like instruments or bits do you
I
do?
sing and write lyrics, and Chris, they play the bass, and Lewis, he plays the guitar.
And what sets your soul on fire?
I guess strong feelings, especially like being autistic, like the good side is that all of the good things I think are even stronger, like definitely love and happiness and excitement. So intense, and I really love that.
What makes you feel liberated?
Could you define that?
I suppose like powerful and like proud.
I guess knowing all the stuff I've been through in my life. I had quite a bad drug addiction. Due to like stress of not being diagnosed, being quite lonely because of that. And I had quite a few friends pass away because of the atmosphere we was in. So it kind of makes me feel like quite strong to get through that. And now be at uni, and I love myself and help kind of other people as well that go through that.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to hear about you losing lots of friends. That's horrid.
Yeah, it's not really talked about as well. How
It's really
especially like around Canterbury, they kind of like gloss over it. Well, I also have PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
I was currently like being diagnosed, but they were like, "You definitely have PTSD." Like, I know, but it means that I forget most things that make me upset. So it kind of helps to try and remember, because I feel quite guilty when I forget the people who passed away. So I try and like remember things.
Would you like to talk about any of them today?
The thing is, like, I really struggle to like think of anything about them. Like my brain kind of like these magnets, like it doesn't. It goes around it and stuff. But I miss them a lot, and I hope that it kind of makes them happy to see that I don't do drugs. And I have a mental health club called Feelings and Friends.
That sounds lovely.
And kind of help like none of them take drugs, and kind of help them on the right path. So yeah, you feel very powerless, especially when you have like disabilities, because you're used to kind of not being heard.
Yeah.
So, but it was really important because like we don't really have any community anymore. The only place to meet people is at the pub. And that's not the best place if people are trying to avoid substances. So I wanted to make a place where people can come and not feel like they're burdening their friends by like bringing up stuff, because that's a set time that you can all talk about and everyone will listen to you, and we won't like necessarily have like solutions, but it's just nice to be like, yeah, that's really shit what you're going through, or oh yeah, I'm going through the same thing.
Honestly, validation I feel like is key.
Yeah. A lot of problems can't be really fixed. You just want someone to listen. And, yeah, and you can kind of like, then you can like set it and be like, yeah, I have this problem, but I also have a life and like other good things around me, and they can like go alongside each other.
I don't think you should ever stop if that's something that you're like really passionate about.
Yeah.
What does self-love mean to you?
I think it's not always like this. I think quite recently there's been like, you have to completely love yourself and every part of yourself, and I don't think that's it. Like kind of have to kind of like you're sacred, and that you can feel kind of bad about yourself sometimes because that's natural. Yeah, to kind of view yourself as this sacred thing. Like in my brain, it's quite strange, but I see myself as this little fox spirit, and I can kind of like feel love and warmth towards that spirit. And it's been through like so much, and kind of want to like hug it and look after it. And I dressed up as Maid Marian for my birthday, and she's a fox, and I was like, wow, I've fully become my like fox self.
How are you feeling now?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, really even better.
That's
nice to talk about things, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's good to talk about yourself sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we could finish with one other little one. Are you happy with what we created today?
Yeah, I'm really happy. Yeah, it was a really nice surprise, and I'm quite proud of myself.
Good, you should be. You really should be. Well, thank you for coming.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Tide. I use he, they pronouns, and I'm 22 years old.
Lovely. And how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling very good. Feeling very, very soft and like warm.
I like that. And how have you been feeling lately?
I've actually been on quite an up. I was really worried that I'd kind of go into a bit of a depression spiral since coming home from visiting my partner in the US. But I kind of got my act together. I've donated a load of clothes. I've joined the gym. I go to the library every day and read and study this like different books and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really enjoying like how that's going and having like a schedule. It's really nice.
That does sound nice. What does your energy feel like today?
I think it's like sunset yellow.
Oh.
It's like a kind of like there's energy, but it's soft.
Mm-hmm.
Very kind of present and.
I love that. What do you think that your style says about you?
I think it displays a form of power that makes many bigoted people angry, because it's just genuine and authentic and fearless. It defies the norm, and that can make people upset for some reason. But I love it. It's so fun to be free.
And what makes you who you are?
I think a lot of life experiences have molded me into a certain person, but I think it's more the people that I've been around and the people that I have allowed into my life. They're the things that have impacted me the most. So I feel like I've definitely become the best version of myself within the last year since meeting my partner, because he's been one of the best support networks I've ever had. And so he supported me in me realizing that I wanted to use he and they pronouns. He supported me in pursuing a career in art. He's supported me in just making sure that my mental health is better than it was. He's helped me with so many things, and I owe him a lot for that, but I also owe myself a lot, because despite the fact that he supported me doing it, it was me that did it. And it's like, that's powerful, and that's something that I appreciate myself for.
I love that. What things do you love? Just in general.
I love my partner. I'm going to say that first and foremost. I love him a lot. I love art. I love being queerfully and wonderfully made. I love anything that defies the norm. If you're soft or bold or anything like that, if you're being authentically yourself, there's love there, and I have love for you. I think sometimes people feel the need to do a lot to gain the love of someone, when really it should be you being yourself. And if someone loves you for that, that's true love. And I always try and show my appreciation for people and what they do in anything and everything they do, because I think, people deserve that. People deserve kindness, because you don't know what happens behind closed doors. And so the best thing you can do is just be kind.
What do your disabilities mean to you?
That's such a good question, because I have only really recently I don't think accepted is the right word, I think processed the fact that I am disabled. I had type 1 diabetes since 2009, and that makes me disabled. Like, I'm immunocompromised, and I never kind of allowed myself to accept that. And I think that also was because of people around me and the impact of their words as well. Like, no, you're this, you're that, you're not this. But also, having scoliosis, like my back is literally wonky. And also things like neurodivergent that kind of leads to some accessibility needs and stuff. I think it's been a very long, difficult process to kind of understand and accept that. But now that I've kind of got that down, it's just another thing to be proud of. It's another thing that I can proudly advocate for and give personal experience as well. Because I'll always advocate for marginalised people, but being able to have your own personal story to do with certain groups, I think helps others relate and feel validated. And knowing that I can do that with many people more than I thought, it feels good. It reminds other people that they're not alone, but it also reminds me that I'm not alone, and that is extremely important, I think.
I really like that. I was going to ask you when you felt that not being able to accept using the word disabled to describe yourself came from?
Yeah, I think that obviously there was, and there still is, a very, your stereotypical use of the word disabled, and it's usually, someone in a wheelchair or a visible disability. People are still very new to the idea that people can have invisible disabilities. And I think that has had a major impact on those with those invisible disabilities in terms of discrimination, not getting the accessibility that they need, people just not believing them, and having that invalidation can be really soul crushing and can really impact someone's mental well-being. And I think it's so important that we put a stop to that.
Yeah.
It feels good being able to say that I am disabled, because that is so many years of being told, no, you're not, no, you're not, no, you're not. And just putting it aside and being like, well, actually, I think I know myself more than you do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that trust in myself that I think I've struggled with for quite a long time, and knowing that I can put my foot down and say, no, this is me. And there's no shame in it. There's nothing wrong with me being this way. And I think that is very powerful. And there's a strong sense of just self-advocacy and self-love from that.
Mm-hmm. So sort of off of the disabilities question, do you find that the positives outweigh the challenges?
I think so, yeah. I think as much as it can be challenging, and there's a lot of pain, and there's also the stigma, like say if I were to be using a disabled toilet and I come out and there's someone looking at me and it's like, well, you can walk, there's that instant kind of, oh, well, you shouldn't be using that. And it's like, you don't know anything about me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of like learning that those people don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people that truly do care about you know who you are and care about who you are and care about how you feel and what you do. And so being able to be proud and advocate for that, and know that I'm advocating for others and helping validate others, nothing can crush that.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing can ever outweigh being able to help and validate someone else, or just someone, because that someone can be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very important for that advocacy to be there. And I think if you have the opportunity to do so, absolutely do it.
Do you stim?
I do. I love stimming.
Yeah.
It's so good, because it's just a brilliant way to be able to express myself, but also a brilliant way to ensure that I don't overwhelm myself, because it's a brilliant way to just kind of
tell me how you stim, what your favourite ways.
I hand flap a lot, especially when I find something funny. Like if I'm laughing, I usually have a bit of a hand flap. I like to do that a lot. That's more of a stressful situation, or if I'm thinking really hard. It's kind of like it's kind of like, when a lot of people do boob grab when they're looking for something. It's kind of like that. I used to do that all the time before top surgery. But yeah, now I just kind of do kind of like a lot of pressing, and it's almost like reminding myself that I'm here, because sometimes you just kind of zone out completely. Sometimes I have kind of like tics. I usually get them when I'm very, very distressed, or like very uncomfortable, like, oh, I really don't like this, and I kind of lurch my neck out or shake my head a lot. And sometimes I'll have a few just like vocal kind of noises, or just and stuff like that. But that's usually more on like the negative side of things. Or if I'm very cold. If I'm really cold, I'll tick to no ends. It's really strange. but yeah, I do a lot of waddling as well. If I'm stood up and I'm excited, I'll do my like kind of hand, because this is clapping in sign language, and I kind of do that, and kind of like step on my feet very gently, and just kind of like a way to kind of show that emotion with my entire body, and I really enjoy it. It's really nice.
So, did you test well in school?
I was actually very quiet in school. I was very quiet and I did very well until it came to exams, and I never really did too great in exams. I found the environment extremely stressful, and I just couldn't focus because I was too distracted by the ticking of the clock in the massive hall, or hearing someone shuffling their feet, or the inevitable chain of coughs that would then happen. Any noise, I'd be like, you have my attention. Like, I just would not be able to sit down and focus, and it was really distressing because I knew that I was capable of doing these things, and I was still like coming out of exams with grades that did not reflect that, and it really upset me. And at the time, I had no idea that I was autistic. I only really kind of realized and accepted it within the last maybe 9 months. It's a relatively new aspect of my life. So yeah, within school, it was just a very distressing and confusing time for me, because it was like, I know that I'm an intelligent person. I know that I can do all of these things. So why can't I do them in this setting? And yeah, it just turns out that I didn't have the correct accommodations.
Who makes you feel safe in this world?
Oh, Luke, my partner, for sure. He is absolutely my safe space. Like, I could have the absolute worst day in the world. I could come home and FaceTime him, and I would just instantly start to just relax. And I know that he will be able to pick up on whether I'm upset or not. And I know that regardless of whether I say, I don't want to talk about it, I will end up talking about it, because that's the best way for me to get it out and feel better. He just knows that sometimes I need a bit of time to steam. I need to have my moment to be angry or to be upset. And he will just sit and he will be there and just say the supportive words that I need. And then when I am able to kind of collect myself and coherently speak, I can then kind of explain the situation, and then he'll just further offer words of support and reassure me as to whether I was in the right, or explain why I was in the wrong, and not make me feel bad about it. He's absolutely just amazing. Like, I can't really, I couldn't ask for a better partner, really.
So nice.
He's just absolutely, like, he really is like my safety blanket. And other than Luke, my cat. I love my cat. She is evil because she's a cat, and I love her. She's like a living stim for me, like a living, like, she's so soft and so lovely. And obviously I will respect her boundaries. If she kind of turns and looks at me like, please stop touching me, I will stop touching her. But usually she will sit near me on my bed, and I will just stroke her and stroke and stroke, and it's just another way for me to just calm down. And I get completely entranced. So, like, Luke would be talking to me on the phone, and I'm just like, I'm listening to what he's saying, but I'm not looking at him because I am far too busy stroking my cat right now.
What has allowed you to grow as a person?
Oh, I think the patience of others.
Interesting.
I think, and also, like, patience for myself. I think I am still kind of figuring myself out. Like, I've got my gender journey, I've got my sexuality journey, which is still me. But I'm at peace with that. I'm okay with that. But in terms of, like, my mental health and like certain diagnoses and stuff, I'm still learning so much about myself, and it's a fun but also very distressing journey, because there are times when it's just like, why am I like this? I don't understand, and I hate it. I wish I were normal, and then, like, obviously we're reminded that normal doesn't exist. And if it did, my God, would it be boring? Like, all of the best people I've known have been neurodiverse in some way.
Queerdos.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, like the patience that my partner Luke has shown in terms of my journey with kind of discovering that I'm autistic and helping me along with that. He has ADHD. And so he was able to kind of pick up on mutual traits that people with autism and ADHD have. And then he did his own personal research so he could learn more about it. And I've done my own research, and we both kind of come together and like, hey, I found this out. And we're able to kind of join dots and be like, oh, this makes sense now. Oh, I understand this. And it's just that reiteration that I'm not alone in this journey. And that patience is everything. Like it really is just the difference between struggling and blooming. And like with his patience, we have both learned so much about each other, and I've learned a lot about myself. And I'm eternally grateful for that.
What do you enjoy doing?
What do I enjoy doing? Oh, there's so many things I could say. I enjoy art a lot. I have to be in the correct mindset for it, so it's not something that I can necessarily do all the time. But when I do it, as much as it can be a bit of a frustrating process, I love it as a whole. I love being able to create and show people like how I see them. I like to paint a lot of kind of like nude bodies and just kind of people in their natural state. And it's just a way of me being like, hey, I think you're beautiful. Like that's kind of my way of showing that. And it also just makes me feel good, because it's me kind of coming back to, like, in school when I wasn't doing great with things in terms of exams. Like I was told that in GCSE art, I remember my art teacher looking at what I was doing and said, if you keep going like this, you're going to get a D. And I was kind of like a predicted A student. And I hated that. Like, that was awful. And so I proved her wrong and I got that A. I look back at that and it's like, well, look at what I'm making now. Like, not only do I like my own work, which is massive in itself, but other people show interest and other people love my work, and other people can not only see but feel what I've put into it and what I'm trying to put across. And that is so important, because a lot of my work is like emotion based. And so when someone says like, wow, I can really feel, like I can feel this feeling or that feeling, or I can feel what you put into this, like that makes it all worth it. And I really love that. I also just really enjoy, I've learned that I'm actually a sociable person. I just wasn't hanging around the right people. When I am around the right people, I'm so bubbly. I'm alive. I'm there. I'm so present, and it's so good being able to say that, because I've struggled so much with being the complete opposite. Like very much like introverted, not spending time with anyone, not present, very dissociative. And so when I am able to step in the moment and enjoy this time with these people, it's just that genuine love that you can feel. And I love love. And I love that love isn't saved for one person. There are so many different kinds of love, and there isn't enough time in the world to not act upon it. Like, tell your friends you love them. I'll always tell my friends I love them. Like, if I've ever spent the day with them, I'd be like, oh, right, I'll see you on this day, love you. Just a little thing like that. Like, I guess, like, I just enjoy showing my appreciation for others.
Mm.
I want to make sure that everyone feels valued because they are. And being able to do that just lights me up. Just that my love language is service.
Mm.
I show love by helping if I can. Like, I am a very anxious person. I have pretty bad anxiety. But say I were out with some friends and I'm like, oh, I wanna go up and order this food, but I'm not feeling too great right now and I'm a bit anxious. My anxiety is wiped away. I will just stand up and be like, what do you want, my love? And I'll go and I'll order it for them. Because it's like nothing comes between me and my friends. Nothing comes between me and the people that I love. And I will do whatever I can for them to be as comfortable and as safe as possible. So it's like I will just completely push all that aside because I know that this will help them.
Mm-hmm. What makes you feel liberated?
I think on days where I may have felt really bad initially, like definitely like a bad mental health day, and I still do the thing.
Mm.
Like, instead of being like, I'm going to stay in bed today because I don't feel great, even though those days are completely valid. And if you need a bed day, have a bed day. But it's like, a lot of the times it's like, I know that deep down I can do this thing.
I want to.
Yeah. So like the other day, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can go to the library today. And I literally just sat up and I was like, yes, I can.
Mm.
And so I got up, I did my makeup, I packed my books, and I went to the library. And I spent a couple hours, and it was so funny because that was a time where the book I was reading, I learned something really pivotal in terms of like a self-discovery thing.
Would you like to share what it was?
Oh yeah, so I'm currently studying this book called The Trans Autistic Guide to Life, which is absolutely perfect being a trans autistic man. And it was I can't actually remember the phrase, but it's shortened to PDA, which obviously many people think as public display of affection, but it's not that. But it's basically how a lot of autistic people can kind of get a kind of irrational anger or just kind of very frustrated, and they show that through anger because they're so overwhelmed they can't really express it any other way. And that was very, very, it hit close to home because I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder last year, and it never sat right with me really. And I was like, this is it. I think I was misdiagnosed, and I think this is actually what they tried to diagnose me with BPD for. And so that was so big because instead of it just being like a, I don't like the sound of that diagnosis, it's a, hey, I think you maybe missed this, or like I can bring this up. And like through seeking an autism diagnosis, I think would be even more kind of just validating for me.
Yeah.
Because like it just fit. And I was like, wow, that really is me. And like if I hadn't gone to the library that day, I wouldn't have known that. And so like I remember leaving that library and just feeling amazing. I was like, man, I can't wait to tell Luke about this. And I got home and like I made myself some food, and you know, I did a load of washing and stuff, and it's just like it was like a spark of hope again. Because I do get very hopeless sometimes in terms of like my mental health kind of identity and stuff. And that just kind of revived me a bit. And I was like, oh damn, I'm going to be able to work things out and it's going to be okay.
What can able-bodied / neurotypical / cis-het people do to be an ally?
Listen to neurodivergent friends, listen to your people of colour, listen to your disabled people, listen to your trans people, listen to your queer people. Listen, let them talk. Let them say what they need to say. Use your platform to elevate their words. Don't use your own, because your words don't apply. I can understand like someone trying to help by being like, oh, well, this, and I think this, and I think this. And it's like, honestly, if the issue doesn't directly impact you, your thoughts don't truly matter. It really matters how the impacted people are feeling and what we can do to make them feel better and safe and comfortable. Use your privilege to elevate these people. Use your privilege to make sure that they are being heard. Don't be another mute for them. Don't be a silencer. Be a megaphone.
What is it like being in a queer relationship?
Oh, fabulous. It's a hug. It's a hug. Like, you know, when you're a kid and you get out the shower and your mum's got the towel and she wraps you around, like, that's what it's like. It's like being held like that and made sure that you're warm and safe and everything like that. It's just safety. It's like being in a relationship with another trans man. It's like he can understand how I'm feeling exactly. Like, I don't have to try and explain because he knows. And then we're able to give each other different ways to describe things, and that can then broaden our understanding of things. It's just such a complementary, love-filled relationship. It's everything I ever wanted and needed and more. It really has just completely like changed my view on life. Like, me 5 years ago probably wouldn't have even thought I'd be alive right now. And here I am, here, happy, queer, and with the absolute love of my life. I honestly, like, I could not be happier with this man. And yeah, like, we really do, like, we help and support each other, and it feels good to do that. And I really can, like, see myself living the rest of my life with him.
What advice would you give to someone dating a trans individual or someone questioning their gender?
Again, listen. Find resources online. Visit mermaids. Find other trans people on social media, on YouTube. Don't try and put words into their mouths. If you find something, show it to them. Ask them questions that will help alleviate any dysphoria that they're feeling. Like, could I do this in a certain way to help you feel better? Could I get this for you? You know, if they're trans masculine, can I get you a binder? Can I get you a packer? Can I take you to the barber, get your hair cut? Do you want me to use these pronouns for you? Would you like to try out this name? And again, patience with that, because it's such a difficult and confusing journey. And having someone be there for that is so important, because it's so hard to do it alone. And so having someone be there, knowing that they will be patient, be supportive, be understanding and accepting, that makes all the difference. And that can help someone completely flourish and become who they are.
What things affected your queer or your trans journey, or both?
Ooh, I've definitely got positives and negatives. We'll start with the negatives. My father, basically a Trump-supporting right-wing Christian, grew up in that kind of household, was very sheltered. I didn't really know anything about anyone queer until like my mid-teens. And that was when I kind of started going to college. I was not spending as much time with my dad because I was realizing that the way that he wanted to bring me up was just wrong. Like, his views were extremely bigoted and it never sat right with me. And I was able to realize that and be like, oh, wait, I don't like this and this is wrong and I don't want to have any part in it. And so I kind of started seeing my dad less. I started living with my mum. I kind of came out initially as bisexual, and I was still presenting as female at the time, and got my first girlfriend, and we were like the lesbians of the school, like, because, you know, like, gay people just didn't exist. It's like I didn't know anyone else who was queer in any way, and it was so alienating, so strange. And I just remember college was my escape for sure. I was able to just kind of be like, right, I need a clean slate so I can start and be who I actually feel like I am, or at least start that journey. So going to college, I was able to wear whatever clothes I wanted. I was able to dye my hair, which was a very fun way that I expressed myself for a really long time. And when my hair gets a little longer, I will probably dye it. But I was able to meet other queer people, which life-changing. It's one thing seeing queer people on the internet, and it's another thing seeing them in person and being friends with them and being able to talk about, you know, like shared trauma, different experiences. And that really, like, that helped me kind of learn to accept myself, because obviously with the Christian upbringing, I was like, I know that I'm different and I know that it's bad. And there is a lot of things wrong with me, and I need to not be that, and I need to, you know, I need to do this instead of be that. And it was very, very hard to kind of get out of that mindset. And when I did, it was brilliant. It was so freeing. And like when I got to change my name and be open about a pronoun change, my mum initially kind of struggled with that. But she came around really quick, and she has been an absolute hoot. She's been absolutely brilliant with my entire transition. And yeah, like my partner at the time was also a trans man. It wasn't the best relationship. It was admittedly quite abusive, but he got me my first binder. And that I have to be thankful for, because that was my click moment. Oh my God, I'm a man. Well, who knew? And from then, you know, here I am. I'm very thankful for being able to get hormones and being able to get top surgery. I just feel so much more comfortable in my own skin, which is lovely, because I honestly didn't realize how uncomfortable I was, and being able to just relax into myself, that was just so nice. And then obviously now fast forward, I'm in a loving queer relationship, and I'm truly myself every day. That is where I wanted to get to, and that's where I am. So I'm very happy.
The last question, how are you feeling?
I feel proud. I feel proud, and I feel a flame. Like I feel strong and powerful and soft and calm, and but like I feel so much. I just feel so strongly. Like advocating for these marginalized groups is so important to me, because it's personal, and I want to make sure that my queer siblings get a much safer journey than I had, a much more kinder journey. And if I can do that, I will. And the same goes towards disabled folks. Like I want to be able to tell my story so people know that they're not alone, and also that they can get through it, because I didn't think I could. And I know that there are other people out there that don't think that they could or can. And I want to be that person and be like, yes, you can. And you will. And it's going to be great.
So thank you for coming.
Of course.
Introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Liz Martine, and I'm 20 years old, almost 21, and that's it pretty much.
And how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, pretty chill. Being nice after a photo shoot, feel confident. It's nice.
So what made you want to take part?
Well, I don't know. I think I haven't really done anything like this before. And I think I need something to boost my confidence because I'm not that confident in general. But it's nice because I get to like celebrate things that I like, music and all that. And it's a cool experience, I think. Definitely.
Like, when do you feel you're most beautiful?
I mean, I'd say when I'm alone, because sometimes when I'm with people, I feel like everyone, like a lot of my friends are really pretty and they're really, you know, there's so much about them, but I feel like kind of weird around them. Like I love all my mates, but I feel kind of like the gross one out of everyone. But when I'm alone, I get to like, I'm just alone with myself and I feel nice, I guess. But I think when I'm with Charlotte, because she's my best mate, she makes me feel like amazing all the time. She's always complimenting me and like just saying really nice shit, and it always really helps with like confidence and stuff. She makes me feel nice. So yeah. We would be in a relationship in another life.
Describe your energy.
I have quite a calm energy, I'd say. I'm quite chill. I don't know, I'm not really you wouldn't really describe me as like really like out there and really like talkative and really chatty and all that kind of stuff. I'm very just very chill, and I'm just happy to be by myself with other people. And I don't know, I'm just quite a calm human being, I think.
What was your childhood like?
It was good. It was a nice childhood. I grew up, both my parents were together. Quite a sheltered childhood, I think, because I think my dad was very protective of us.
Would your younger self or your inner child be proud of you today?
Yes and no. I think yes, because I've overcome a lot of stuff. And I think she'd think that my hair was really cool. And I think she'd be happy that I'm kind of dressing how I want to dress, I think. I'd say no as well because I haven't done the things I want to do right now.
Yeah.
And obviously there's been a lot of like stopping because of like COVID and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'd say no because I think that I just haven't done what I wanted to do by this age. And I spend a lot of time being mad at myself for that. And I feel like I could be doing so much, but I think because I get in my head a lot and people see it as lazy, but I'm a bit mentally ill, so I can't really, there's not a lot of stuff that I can do because I hold myself back a lot. But I told myself that I wanted to, by the time I'm 21, I want to have put out some of my songs. And I think if I did that, my younger self would be really proud of me. To do that. Yeah.
Just do it.
I will do it. I'm recording and I'm writing my shit down, so I'm excited for that. It'll be cool.
Who are your biggest influences?
David Bowie.
Who do we have here?
David Bowie. Pulp. Literally everyone. Cure, Robert Smith. Pretty much. Pink Floyd. Just people that aren't afraid to fucking do whatever the fuck they want to do. And he made it okay for people to dress however the fuck they want, even if you're a guy. He really helped introduce that, and I think that's why a lot of people are able to do what they do today. I'm not just saying it's just him, but he was very big on that.
Who do you think speaks to you the most?
Bowie, definitely. And not just in a way like his music's cool and stuff, but like, I don't know, I have so many posts of him in my room and I look at him every day. I'm like, you're the reason that I'm still doing what I'm doing. I'm still going, and like, it's just shit that he's dead. I'm so sad about that. But I think I've kind of found I'd always been listening to his music because my mum and all that stuff, but I think I found him and started getting really interested in him at like the time in my life when I needed to. And like when I was with my ex-boyfriend, I think I was a very different person, and I was very just not really who I wanted to be. And I wasn't, I had long blonde hair, I was really, really thin, and like I was just doing whatever I was wearing whatever he wanted me to wear and stuff. I think when we broke up, I kind of became this different person, but it was me, and I was so happy about that. And I mean, we still talk now, me and my ex-boyfriend, but he isn't happy with who I am today because I'm not that perfect thing that he wanted me to be, which is why we're not together. But I think I've just been able to become this person. I'm so happy about it. It's amazing. I love it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
When was the last time you cried?
2 days ago at night. It was. I cry a lot. Like I'm just such an emotional person. But it was a proper cry. Like, you know, when you're like trying not to make a sound and you're like
Yeah.
you know.
And you know you look ugly doing it. When you're like
Kim K crying. Like, yeah. It was like that. But it was nice to let it all out. I mean, I hadn't cried. Well, I cried the day before that, actually. I cry a lot. But I don't do it. It's not always when I'm sad. I just do it to let out some sort of emotion. But yeah, it was 2 nights ago.
And like, what is it like when you don't cry for a while?
I don't know. It almost feels weird when I don't cry for a certain amount of time. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is weird. But I think when I don't cry, it obviously is good because I'm not crying, but I feel like there's something wrong with me almost because that's how I let out a lot of my emotions, especially when I'm alone. And I think, I don't know, it's just hard for me not to cry a lot. But when I'm not crying, I feel weird. Obviously, like, not when I'm, like, if I'm here right now, I'm not crying, I don't feel weird, but if there's something that happens and I don't cry about it, it's almost like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
When was the last dance party you had with just yourself?
This morning.
Yes.
Yeah, just fucking getting ready. Just every time I just put on my music and it just makes me feel so good, and like you just fucking section yourself up in the mirror and it's just like amazing.
I love it. When was the last time you jumped?
I don't know. Well, like really fucking just fuck it.
Just
jumping.
like just jumped.
Just
jumped in the air.
I don't know.
Do you want to
Jump.
jump?
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, what are your favourite things to do?
Play guitar, listen to music, draw, colour, sing, cry. I like crying, it's fun. Being with Charlotte, just literally anything with Charlotte is amazing. Because we do shit all and it will still be great. Trying new outfits, buying clothes, too many clothes, buying shoes. I have so many shoes, so bad. I'm trying to sell all my stuff because I just can't deal with all of it now. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just anything creative, really. Love it. Changing my hair, different hairstyles. It's great. It's a fun life.
So, how are you feeling now?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling chill. I'm feeling happy after everything. Like the photo shoot was really nice. It was really good. It was really fun to put all this shit up.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But I'm feeling pretty good. Calm. And I feel way more confident about myself. Because I came in here, I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna look really shit. And then I saw the pictures, I actually look alright.
You look really
It
cool.
was nice. Thanks for making me look good.
You look good. I
Stop
do
it.
nothing.
Stop it.
No.
You.
You. Well, this has been Liz, so this has been Liz. It's been Liz.
It's been me, guys.
It's been real.
It's been real, you guys.
Peace out.